What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I feel I feel like it's time to basically talk about Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now, I tried to give you guys enough time to catch up on these shows. Hopefully, you have caught up. And in today's video, we're going to just discuss the season finales and what is to be expected out of this crossover coming this fall. Now, this is going to be primarily based in December, I believe, and in the early month of January, seeing as the promotional poster for the crossover stated 5 hours in 2 quarters. So the first quarter will be in 2019, and then the wrap-up quarter will be in early 2020. Now, the order of appearances by shows, it has not been released as of yet, but we do know that in the first half of 2019, you're going to have at least 3 shows, meaning 3 hours, and then 2 shows to wrap up with the 2 remaining hours in 2020. So in Arrow, we get the season finale where they do this little minor time jump. They have the baby, they have left Star City, and everything seems to be all happy and, peaceful. And then the Monitor comes and he shows up and he shits on their lawn. You know what I'm saying? So basically, he tells Oliver, now it's the time that you come with me. You live up to that deal that we made back in the Elseworlds crossover of last year. So they showed the final conversation that they had behind closed doors. Now, if you guys don't remember last year in Elseworlds crossover, Kara and Barry were basically reversing time and, also rotating the Earth's circulation. Basically, they were going so fast that initially both of them were about to reach their ultimate demise until Oliver stepped in, took one for the team, told the Monitor to spare the lives, and he will do whatever he wants. So the Monitor tells him, the world needs a balance. So if he basically, saves the lives of Kara and Barry, in order for that balance to remain in balance, you have to replace it with something. So that's just, standard bullshit stuff that you obviously know about. So basically, he tells them, he says that the world needs heroes such as Barry and Kara, but the world doesn't necessarily need me. Now, I feel like he's wrong because he has done so much as the Green Arrow, just the fact that, he doesn't have any superpowers, he was, initially our Batman for the Arrowverse, and that made him so cool, and that just solidified him as a hero because he was doing things that people with powers would necessarily do. Stop gunmen and explosions and, just saving Star City. He has been devoted to Star City. He's done everything he possibly can with Star City. He has formed a legit team that he can trust and, call his family. He has done everything right, but the man still feels like he has these sins, weighing down on him that he has to pay for. So I think that is ultimately the reason why he made that decision. And he said, you know what? Basically, you can take my life. Like, I lived, I done everything. I still have, regrets and stuff like that. And I don't necessarily need to be the Green Arrow anymore because I have created a team who can honestly take over and live up to the legacy that I have provided them with. So that is the reason why towards the end of this season finale, they actually leave Star City to start their new life with baby Mia. So that is the reason why they left, So then they leave Star City in the hands of Laurel, aka Black Siren, who probably won't be called Black Siren anymore, seeing as now she is going to officially assume the role of Laurel of Earth 1. So, it's going to be a big question of what they're going to call her, seeing as Dinah is the initial Black Canary right now. but Dinah is also, left to uphold the legacy within Star City. She's still in the SCCPD, so it's pretty interesting to see where things go. You still also have Diggle and Lila down at Argus. Um, you had an appearance by Curtis, but Curtis went back to Washington. Um, and you also have Renee. Now, in spite of what you may have seen in the 2040 flash forward scenes, everybody is still all together and supporting Star City, and they're still all a team, a well-oiled machine. So, it's going to be interesting to see if they actually change their futures. So yeah, as I said, they leave Star City. The baby is born. Oliver is there. It's general peaceful moments. You get this Olicity feel. You're like, yes, this is what we've been waiting for. You know what I'm saying? You got the marriage. You got the baby. Now you got the happily ever after. But then it gets ruined because Oliver has to go away forever and never return. And that is something that the Monitor has actually said. Basically, where we're going, there is no returning for you. You know what I'm saying? So he agrees to that deal, but Oliver honestly thought he had more time. But due to the events that actually took place within the Flash, the timeline has been put up, sooner than expected. So now let's talk about the Flash. Now, we don't get an initial Monitor appearance, but we do get a message from Gideon. She says an incoming time flux. Now, we see the newspaper that we have been seeing since season 1, and it has changed once again. Now, this time we see the timer. Well, it's not a timer, but you see the months going down rapidly and the years going down rapidly as well until it finally stops on 2019. Not revealing the month, which was, initially made like that, on purpose, basically. But I believe that it's going to take place sometime in December. I don't think it's going to be November again. So, yeah, expect to see something starting off by December at least. Maybe, towards the end of November, early December. I'm not as sure exactly what the initial dates will be, but we will find out, and I will make a video on that. So in this season finale, you know what I'm saying, I'm just going to skip to the good parts because that's what you're here for, honestly. Let's just be real, guys. So Nora gets erased from the timeline due to them destroying the dagger. Now, that was Reverse's Flash big plan all along to get Nora to trust him and honestly get what he wanted out of the situation. We already knew that this man was always one step ahead. This time he was 2 steps ahead, and this was way, way too easy. He's seen a broken down girl in the future who doesn't have a father figure, who's, being sidelined by their mom, hence the reason why Iris put the chip in her, you know what I'm saying, just so she doesn't fall in the path of her father. But initially, once she gets exposed to the fact that she has power, she does actually follow in her father's footsteps, and that leads to her actually finding out who her father really is. So she goes to Reverse Flash, and Reverse Flash, just eagerly sees this moment as, this is my time. This is what I got to do in order to get my ass out of here. Now he is caught. He is in Iron Heights, I believe, and he has been there for 15 years, according to him. Now, for us, obviously, it hasn't been 15 years because we seen him in last year's crossover, and Barry had let him go in the crossover. And that is just typically something that we generally see. Barry always getting that, that closeness to Reverse Flash, in which he almost loses his cool, and you might think he's going to kill him, but of course, according to Eobard, the Flash doesn't kill. So he has no other choice but to let him go, and once again, in this season finale, he lets him go. But during that scene, Reverse Flash actually says, "See you in our next crisis." So what does that obviously mean? Well, that just confirms that Eobard Thawne will be, in the crisis in this fall. Now, what he will be doing in the Crisis, I'm not exactly sure. Where does he go every time he runs off? We have no clue. This man knows everything. He's always one step ahead, two steps ahead this season. It's been pretty epic knowing that he was the mastermind behind everything. And it took one private eye to actually reveal it all, and that was Ralph Dibny. As you can see in my last video, I officially named him the real MVP because he was the only one to actually uncover the mastermind plan that belonged to Reverse Flash. And it took a dire situation for the team to actually look into it. So then once they done that, they discovered this mirror gun that has the ability to, just portal the dagger somewhere else. Now, we don't know exactly where the dagger will land. We just know that it won't be physical in the, hands of Cicada. Shall I say Grace Cicada, because the original Cicada was dead. You know what I'm saying? Initial literal stab in the back. That was so cold and so sinister of Grace. But honestly, her appearance was pretty pointless. All she was doing was being fueled by her own rage and anger inside of her. But she literally had no point in, partaking in her father's footsteps. Well, her adoptive father, not her initial father. He was the uncle, but then he became the adoptive parent. But yeah, like I said, she had really no physical, no physical reason to be here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that they actually killed her off in the first couple of minutes of the finale episode, because I really didn't want it to drag out. I'm sick of the memes of, Cicada just blasting off into the air, you know what I'm saying, kind of Team Rocket style or Supergirl style, because honestly, they were reaching Kryptonian levels as far as power levels go, because they gone extremely powerful. The fact that this Grace Cicada had the abilities of the dagger without actually needing the dagger was pretty crazy. And then not to mention, she had her own two dagger dual blades, and she had her uncle's dagger. It was just yeah, she's super OP for no reason. And like I said, there was really no reason for her to be there. So I'm glad they got rid of her. Boom. She's erased from existence. Grace is okay. You know what I'm saying? Now she won't end up becoming that version of her future self. You know what I'm saying? Just due to the events. Now, with major timeline changes, there is always a consequence, and the consequence comes in the form of Nora also being erased from existence. Now, throughout the last couple of episodes, she has been, accessing the negative Speed Force due to Reverse Flash actually showing her a way to get back to 2019. She wanted to know his way of going through time travel without being noticed, and he shows her the way, basically called the negative Speed Force. Now, it is fueled by rage and anger, and that's something that you honestly have to channel in, and you have to let it out at certain points against people that you honestly care about or some shit like that. That's what it was eventually made to seem as, you know what I'm saying? So she had her first access when she got extremely mad that her father didn't show up in the future to bring her home. Only Iris showed up, so it was kind of like Barry initially didn't care about her anymore, and that's how she felt. And when she first ran, she accessed the negative Speed Force, and she was able to get back to 2019, but Eobard Thawne didn't know exactly when, you know what I'm saying, or where, shall I say, she was in 2019. He just knew that she went back to that time period because that's initially what she wanted to do. So she comes here in 2019. She tries to be bad and get her father's attention. And then, she initially gets her father's attention and blah, blah, blah. They tie the knot and wrap things up. It was actually a good, sort of kind of Nora Reverse Flash kind of situation. I was kind of liking the idea. She did her like best imitation of Reverse Flash when she was going to like initially stick her hand through Cisco's chest and rip his heart out, and that gave him those spooky feels once again. You know what I'm saying? So the family gets back together again, but yet they still have to be, worry about Reverse Flash and what he's doing due to Ralph actually spending so much time investigating the fact that things just didn't add up. And as I said, it took a dire situation for them to actually take a look into what Ralph was actually talking about. So Ralph gets shot with the mirror gun and his body is disfigured. And it looks very nasty and disgusting, but I love the CGI effect that it actually had. So, as I said, it took that dire situation in which, Ralph could have initially died or something like that for them to actually look into the situation. So they investigate. Then they finally realize, what? He was right. There's something that's not adding up. But Barry says, what? That can be put to the side because what we have to focus on is Grace Cicada. We can't have her basically neutralizing all of the metahumans in Central City. So Grace Cicada comes up with this plan to neutralize everyone, without actually having to go around and kill everyone herself personally. So there was this device that she created to neutralize everyone, by air, I'm guessing. With the serious intake that it will like just shower over everyone, neutralizing their metagenes in them, hence killing all of the metahumans. So yeah, Cisco shuts that down real quickly, and I was super excited to see this moment because they underestimate his abilities so much. You know what I'm saying? He didn't initially just need his powers, to be great. And that's something that is actually said in this season finale once they meet up with the Reverse Flash. So yeah, they stop Grace Cicada, they shut down her machine, they destroy the dagger, or shall I say with like air quotes, considering you can't see me actually doing any air quotes, but they initially destroy the dagger and it ceases to exist in the present, causing it to not exist in the future. So this dagger was strapped to Eobard's chest for like 15 years, causing him to remain in prison, obviously. And you guys know the powers of the dagger. It neutralizes metagene powers. So obviously he wasn't able to use his super speed to get out of there or unable to phase. So once they did that, he was able to break free, kill all the guards. And as I said, he was going to leave the best kill for the guard that was doing the most torturing. And he tried to beg and plead Eobard Thawne, and it just didn't work. Now, this was the first time I actually seen Thawne, form lightning and actually throw it. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't initially throw it as Barry throws it. He was just like real smooth with it, straight off the fingertips, zapped the guard, and then stuck his hand through his chest, which is his classic move, hence ripping out his heart or crushing his heart within his chest. Whatever he does with the heart, I just know he sticks his hand through you, and that is his go-to move. And just as he is about to speed out of there, put on his suit, Nora and Barry come to the rescue, and Nora is reversing time. And when you're a speedster, you know when other speedsters are present. So they basically show that, time and everything's slowing down, and then it's initially reversing, but he catches on to it. He says, either, I forgot exactly what he said, but he said someone actually learned how to reverse time or something like that. So he just knew, okay, this is Nora because that is her power, That's why she was called Rewind in the beginning or something like that, but then she kind of was sold on this whole XS story, excessive. So yeah, the final showdown. This is where it all happens, and this is where things get extremely good. So now you have the face-off with Barry versus Reverse Flash, and featuring Nora. So basically they have this heated conversation, blah, blah, blah. threat. Reverse Flash says, you know what? Let's see how much your father has actually taught you. Seeing as he was, initially the one that taught her a lot of things, but, essentially Eobard Thawne has actually taught her, a great amount of things as well. So he just basically says, let's see, who taught you well. And as you can see, for some strange reason, this is one thing I did not get and I actually didn't like. Reverse Flash was still so much faster than Barry. Why the hell is that possible? Why the hell is that a thing? Barry has went into the Speed Force numerous times and came out wiser and faster. So why wasn't he able to simply just catch Eobard Thawne very simply? We don't know. But my best guess is basically they're just meant to be arch rivals. You know what I'm saying? They're just meant to always have this battle, for history. You know what I'm saying? So it's just always going to be the ultimate face off between those two. But I just wanted Barry to honestly just catch him and just like beat his ass just so bad. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he ends up smoking them, just like in a straightaway, which was crazy. Nora was playing catch up the whole entire time. And then once they turn around and do this whole, face off kind of situation, paying homage to season one where Barry and Reverse Flash took off in the arena, running at each other at full speed. Reverse Flash ducks and dodges them, and they end up crashing into each other. Nora falls down, blah, blah, blah. She's not enough. They're not enough to take on Reverse Flash, but then Reverse Flash gets a sudden freaking snap back to reality, and this happens. Team Flash shows up, and basically they're like, you know what? You don't have to face this alone, Barry. We got your back. Also paying homage to season one, in which Oliver Queen and Firestorm helped out take down Reverse Flash. So you get the big face off this time. You have Ralph present and Killer Frost. You have Iris. Everyone is there, and Reverse Flash is super excited about this. He's just like, you know what? This is going to be fun. So they're doing their whole coordinated attacks. Everyone's attacking all at once. Cisco's using all of his breach powers, opening up several breaches. They're shooting him. Iris is shooting him with the gun. Killer Frost is blasting him with ice. Ralph was punching him using his oversized hand powers. Now, that was pretty cool, everything happening in this scene all at once, and I just love the ultimate takedown of Reverse Flash. He actually got bested once again with the powers of Team Flash. So yeah, essentially it kind of sucks that Barry always needs help to take down his arch enemy, but at the same time, it's just cool to see on screen the chemistry and the power that they have together to, become victorious. So they take him down, and Nora honestly does her second best, imitation of Reverse Flash, in which she was about to put her hand through his chest and kill him. You've seen her eyes turn red, but now the question at hand is, was that her own anger, or was that the anger of Eobard Thawne? Very confusing, but we will initially find out, I guess, in the upcoming season. So then we get Barry telling Nora that, no, don't kill him because that isn't right. You know what I'm saying? So then you get the whole scene in which her hand turns to like KY jelly or some shit like that. It is very funny to actually see because the CGI effect on her hand was pretty funny. Now, hold on for a sec, guys. So much things going on in here. I'm sorry about that noise in the background. They're watching something on the TV. It's always something when I'm doing my videos. I can never have time to myself or space. But her hands become, very stiff, very jello-like. And as I said, it looked like KY jelly or some shit like that, some kind of like oozy, weird stuff, like slimish. So we essentially see that Nora is unable to, go out with her plan of killing Reverse Flash due to her starting the erase process. You see the blue particles forming, the sparkled stuff, and Reverse Flash says it was never going to work out, little runner, you know? And he says that basically he kind of hated that he had to use her in this way because he actually grown, pretty fond of her. And she showed him in many ways what it was like to have a daughter, basically. And as I said, once again, it's just paying homage to season one, seeing as this is what he had said to Cisco before, what I'm saying? He showed him what it was like to have a son and, just what it would be like to be a father figure and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But hence the reason why you can't trust this man, But the fact that he actually did care about Nora does actually spark, something between the two. Hence the reason why they connected so easily, and hence the reason why Iris was kind of arguing on the side of Reverse Flash during the whole situation with Barry versus Iris when they had the huge couple fight. That's what we're gonna call it. The couple fight, couple argument, whatever. Just typical marriage shit that you go through. You agree and you disagree with each other. Ultimately, in the end, you have to find the middle and basically let things go, live your life. So Barry kind of understood. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, initially I wasn't around. You kind of helped out with, the situation and helping her not feel so lost. So yeah, she gets erased. And before the actual erasing, Eobard Thawne tells Barry that there is a way to save her if they basically take her through the negative speed force. In the negative speed force, the time travel rules does not really apply there. Hence the reason why he is always able to manipulate the timeline and get what he wants, goes undetected. He's able to just alter history and do whatever the hell he wants. You know what I'm saying? Like, the negative speed force is so fucking awesome. Shit, I would want to go there. So basically, Nora, she, initially was going to agree with this, just to save her own skin. But at the same time, she felt like that the speed force will forever change her. Hence the reason why I said the reverse Nora or reverse XS, reverse Nora Flash, whatever name you want to give her. She was going to initially become like Eobard Thawne if she was able to basically go through the speed force and live out what she was going to, become. So yeah, she just like shuts that plan down, tells Barry, you know what, I'll just, accept my fate. You know what I'm saying? I will come back to you guys differently, but right now I have reached my time and I'm not allowed to alter the timeline, because I learned so much from you guys. So basically, I will accept this punishment. This is my punishment for coming back, altering the timeline, and trusting the man in yellow. You know what I'm saying? This is why Barry was saying that. Basically, this is why he was holding that grudge for so long, because this is what this man does. He gets you to trust him, and then he just takes that trust right away from you. So yeah, that's what happens within the season finale of The Flash. You get Grace Cicada erased. You get Nora erased. You get the dagger destroyed. You get Eobard Thawne, who is free, and he runs off doing whatever the hell he does. And he throws out this line saying that he will see you in our next crisis. Basically, it will be the Crisis on Infinite Earths, which leads to the newspaper event that has been there since season one. Hence the reason why it says Flash missing in Crisis. So this is the crisis that they're talking about, obviously, in which Reverse Flash and Barry obviously are going to face off in this crisis. And, either one of them could definitely disappear in this crisis. Now, it is unclear that if Barry will actually die, seeing as, it would seem like Oliver is taking up that mantle as being the one who would die in the crisis, courtesy of the Monitor. Now, the Monitor doesn't initially kill him, but he tells him that he's seen his future, basically, and he witnessed him die in this crisis. So there's nothing he could do about it to change it, but Oliver can help him basically, prevent others from reaching their ultimate demise. So that does include other heroes and his family members. So yeah, that is the reason why Oliver went with the Monitor, and they're basically recruiting the best of the best. And I'm guessing they're going to be visiting alternate universes, meaning alternate worlds, alternate Earths. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be recruiting, so I'm guessing that's what they're doing. Seeing as Oliver is definitely, recognized as a great team leader, so he has the profile to basically form a team. So yeah, that's what they're basically doing. But initially, as he says, Oliver dies, so there is no way for him to come back. And you also get the tombstone in that episode. That's something that I left out. Basically, you see Oliver Queen's name on it. Shows you the day that he was born. The year that he's born and the year that he dies, which is 2019. And it also reads Green Arrow on the tombstone, which was a nice effect, a nice, pretty cool thing to basically have noted on your tombstone. You know what I'm saying? So you go recognize in the earth that, this man went down. He was a hero. He wasn't just, your playboy philanthropist, Oliver Queen. He was actually the Green Arrow. So boom, that's your season finale of Arrow. That's your season finale of The Flash. You get the incoming time flux with the newspaper changing the date with the year, and the month will actually be revealed. Possibly when we get closer to the crossover, we will find out all of the official dates of the episodes and the time slots. So expect that to come up, kind of soon. I wouldn't say this month exactly, maybe like 2 more months from now, maybe like July or August or some sort, around there, we'll find out something. So now that we have went through Arrow and Flash, let's actually talk about Supergirl. Well, there's not really much to talk about with Supergirl, honestly, because his appearance was just basically bringing forth John's twin brother, and John and his brother have this like heated history between each other, and maybe he is the reason why his brother was banished to some other realm or some shit like that. I don't know the exact story with John Jones' twin brother. I just know that his name is hard to pronounce, and he is there to wreak havoc, to test the limits of Martian Manhunter and Supergirl. So I believe that it is the Monitor's initial intentions of bringing him there, just to up the ante and see where his mega powers actually stand, because we do know that Martian Manhunter and, Supergirl and Superman are the big guns in this crossover. You know what I'm saying? They're going to need those big guns, basically. So that is the reason why you get the huge threat in Martian Manhunter. And you guys know what Martian Manhunter's powers are and what he is capable of. And he is definitely worthy of being a test dummy. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know if Martian Manhunter's twin brother will actually die, but that'll be, pretty interesting to see the big showdown between the two. Now, we did see that the Monitor also went to Lex Luthor's corpse, which was still sitting in the chair, and he waved his hand over. Now, initially, people didn't know what the hell was happening, but just by putting 2 and 2 together, I believe this is him reviving him and giving him a chance to partake in this crossover, helping him band together like this team of villains who will also act as anti-heroes and helping the Monitor defeat the anti-Monitor. Seeing as if you guys resort back to the comics, he did play a major role
within, gathering up the villains. So yeah, that is going to happen. So maybe Reverse Flash will definitely be a part of that. Who knows? Villains helping villains, teaming up. It might actually work out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Arrow, Supergirl, Flash, right out the gate. All three of those are taken care of. Now, the last show we have is Legends of Tomorrow. Now, his appearance in this show was very tiny. Seeing as the Legends, they're not really a show to take serious. You know what I'm saying? He just went there to observe them, and that is exactly what he did. He was shaking his head, saying basically like, I'm not sure about these guys, you know what I'm saying? Like they need some more maturing, basically. So in their season finale, they actually bring to life Hey World, which was, an imagination kind of place, which was created by Nick when he was a child. And that was, Nick's father, basically, Hank, doing throughout the season was trying to bring to life this creation made by his son, ultimately, causing some, strange tension between the two. So now that it is actually, a thing, considering his father's passing due to Neuron, neutralizing him and stealing his soul or trapping his soul somewhere. But you get it, you know what I'm saying? Like Neuron, he done a lot this season. He has done a lot, and it wasn't much to really talk about in the Legends, which is why I didn't make any videos on it, because the show was bouncing around from like good to bad, but ultimately the entire season was just extremely bad for me. The show is too comedic, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that you don't really get as much heroing as you're supposed to get from this show. But ultimately, this is the purpose of the show, is to feel like a little comedic in a way. They're expressing, like serious like love connections between characters on the show. You got Sarah and Ava. You had Nick and Zarya. Then you had Ray and Nora. And it's just like, it's just, man, I even hate to talk about it right now. It's just a bunch of crap. But I'm going to just basically say the reason why he was there, honestly, just to observe the Legends, to see if they are worthy of being, recruited into this big crossover event. But if you guys know anything about the comics, every single hero is needed, regardless if they are, huge core members of the Justice League or like a secondary and third team. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is needed for this huge team up event to stop the Anti-Monitor and whatever threats the Anti-Monitor is bringing along with him. Hence, I believe Psycho Pirate will play a big, payoff in the Anti-Monitor's, big threats that he's going to bring. And I believe the Doctor will also get like some sort of resurrection. Seeing as in last year's crossover, he was depowered and, disfigured as far as like face goes. He looks like a fucking zombie, or he looks like Thanos, like Thanos but without all the muscle. That's exactly what he looks like. Thanos without all the muscle, and he has some hair on his freaking head. So yeah, they meet up in prison, and you get that closeout in last year's crossover in which Batwoman contacts Oliver Queen. Now, I don't know exactly how she gets the number, but seeing as this is, the connected universe and she will be a part of the Arrowverse, maybe she just found his number on in a Yellow Pages or some shit like that. Or maybe Bruce has actual contact with Oliver Queen, and that will actually be very interesting. Now, we did hear Bruce's name drop numerous amount of times in, the last past seasons of Arrow. So maybe they'll make that connection in the future or something like that. Maybe that'll be a closeout kind of like a thank you for Oliver doing all that he has done for the universe. Hence the reason why the show is going off. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they'll pay that off to Oliver. Maybe he gets to actually meet Bruce Wayne or meet Batman within his last and final season. And once again, season 8 is going to be the final season of Arrow, and it's only going to have 10 episodes. Now, I don't know if all 10 episodes will be Star City 2040, but it will be interesting to see what is actually going to happen within that last and final season, because we do know that they made that time jump at the end of season 7. So it will be kind of stupid for them to go backwards in season 8. So the Monitor is watching the legends perform at Hayworld, trying to get everyone to believe that, superheroes actually exist. Hence the reason why they were dressing up as Supergirl, Flash, and Green Arrow. Now, the reason why they couldn't have them actually on the show, I don't really know, but just using your brain, you guys obviously knew that they were dealing with their own, big bads, and it's not like they could just step away from their show and just say, you know what, we're gonna go to the Wave Rider and partake in a freaking circus act. Like, that's just kind of stupid. So yeah, they putting on this big show and they have to take out, these creatures, but they don't want to take them out initially because they want to get to know creatures and show the world that not all creatures can be dangerous and menacing if you actually get the time to know these creatures. The show was going extremely bad until the big dragon showed up, and that's where their powers were actually tested, seeing as they were able to neutralize the effect, the big threat, shall I say, which was the dragon, so yeah, yada, yada, yada. I really don't want to talk about the legends because it just pisses me off. But as I said, you see the Monitor, his appearance. First, he was shaking his head. Then he was actually enjoying himself because he was eating popcorn and sort of laughing with the crowd blending in. And maybe, just maybe, he will consider these guys' invitation into the crossover. It is not officially confirmed, but as I said, if you resort back to the comics, all of the heroes are needed. So there is a possibility that we will see the legends in the show. Now, how much screen time are they going to actually have is, the ultimate question in the end. And where do they actually come in? Is it in the beginning of 2019 or is it during the wrap up of 2020? Because as we've seen in the last couple of crossovers, they always come in towards the end because they're initially, like the plus sides of the team, because they come with their own team adding to the team that is already existing. More brains, more muscle, yada, yada, yada. So yeah, that was everything you guys needed to know about the Crisis on Infinite Earths. That was everything that I possibly could remember dating back to the season finales. Now, these are the only initial teasers that have been actually, put out there via the season finales. This is where all of the teasers took place after the season finales, went off. And if you guys, watch the season finales, but you didn't stay for the teasers, they are available on YouTube. You can catch them on anybody's page, honestly. But the best page I would definitely look for them is the, Elseworld Clips, I believe. That's what it's called, their channel. Elseworld Clips or something like that. Basically, they're showing you, clips of what happened in the Elseworlds crossover, and they have teasers basically for this year's crossover as well. So that is where you can basically find all of the teasers that you possibly did not see if you missed it, because me just generally explaining it, you have to see it with your own eyes because it does get you, excited for this fall. So if you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe. Make sure your post notifications are turned on, because throughout this whole summer, I will be making updated videos for you guys as news comes out. And you're not going to want to miss any of those. So that's what the bell is for. It will send you post notifications when I'm uploading a video or doing a live stream on this channel. And please be sure to leave a like and fill in the comment section with anything that I may have left out. If you felt confused in some sort of way, let me know in the comment section. And if you are extremely happy for this crossover, let me know in the comment section, and leave the hashtag Crisis on Infinite Earth, so that way I can read it and, just have easy access to it as well. So I will catch you guys in the next video. As always, stay safe, enjoy your Friday, ladies and gentlemen, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.